Hello everyone and welcome to Keen Ear, and before I get the ball rolling on this video and bring out some Bowie, I just want to do a bit of sort of shameless self-promotion in the form of a plug to a channel that I've recently started up on here on YouTube. It's called Totally Rad Video Games, and as you can probably tell by the title, or at least I hope so anyway, it's all about video games and that kind of thing. So if that's something that's up your street, you might want to check her out. I'll leave a link in the description for anybody who wants to do so. And I don't have much much uploaded at this point, only 2 videos, but obviously I'm going to be posting more in due time. So David Bowie, we're going to be focusing on his soundtracks in this video, just a soundtrack material, and I've been planning on making a David Bowie ranking video, maybe just focusing on the 70s 70s albums, because there's so many David Bowie albums. I think trying to do a ranking video of everything he put out is going to be pretty difficult, really. But I think it is possible. But it might be a pretty long video, put it that way. But until then, I'm kind of still thinking about making a solo Beatles video, along with a Rolling Stones one I've got in mind, and a Jimi Hendrix one, and I'm also thinking about making a Kinks video. So yeah, there's a lot I'm thinking of making. It's whether or not I've got the time to put these videos together. And what's particularly annoying at the moment is I'm sort of shooting videos and then finding out that the videos are, the footage hasn't worked out or anything like that. So I could possibly do, because I'm shooting these on my phone, and it's pretty old and it's pretty crappy, so it doesn't seem to be working too well. So maybe I could do with stop spending so much money on records and video games and that kind of thing. Maybe get myself a decent phone sorted out, and especially now as I've got 2 channels I'm working on. But anyway, we'll see how things go. But I want to start things off with a look at this. Now this is The Man Who Sold the World. And it's of course it's not a soundtrack related or anything like that. In fact, this isn't even actually an album. If you kind of maybe suss out what potentially this is at this point, it's actually a calendar. This is a 2020 calendar, which we all know 2020 turned out to be the best year ever, and this is something I've hung on the wall and it's been looking at me all year. So yeah, kind of Bowie got me through a sort of crappy year, really, in all with his presence. And the reason why I'm showing this is because this album, The Man Who Sold the World, is based in its 50th year. Its 50-year anniversary is coming up, and to celebrate it, they're releasing a load of different releases. You can get like a picture disc, and there's like an extended EP, and there's all kinds of things like that. And I've got my eye on a 2-disc CD release of this. It's got like a little book with 2 CDs of like extra material and outtakes and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's called The Width of a Circle, and it's something I'm probably gonna check out. So I might make a video on that as and when it comes out. It's due out sort of late May, so not long to go now. Yeah, and I'll definitely check that out. So I just wanted to show that calendar, really, and talk about The Width of a Circle, which is right up my street, because I really do like The Man Who Sold the World. I think it's one of Bowie's better albums in general, really. So we'll move on now to an actual real soundtrack, and this is The Man Who Fell to Earth. Now we've got The Man Who Fell to Earth and The Man Who Sold the World kind of mixed up. It's sort of, for some reason, they are very similar titles, of course, but I seem to mix them up in my brain sometimes, which happens a lot. But anyway, this is purely just the music from the film. It's like a box set that they put out, and they kind of went above and beyond with this. It's on two vinyl records, and it's on 2 CDs. Same material on both formats, but they got all the music from it. The first time it's ever been released, a hardback book, a poster. I'll get to the goodies in a little bit, but first I just want to talk about 2 things which I find a little bit annoying about this release. First and foremost, it's a big old box set, and it's got none of it would have been nice if they included like a Blu-ray or a DVD at least of the film, and it doesn't, unfortunately. And another thing about it, and I think it's probably the reason why this took so long to come out, because if you read here on the hype stick, it says the first release of the original soundtrack, you know, and the film came out in the mid 70s, something like that, you know, around the 70s, and this came out in 2016, so yeah, quite a long time after it. I think part of the reason, you know, you got Bowie's face so prominently on the cover there, and you got David's name there, but on the back, if you have a look, you won't be able to really see, I'd imagine, you know, in the video, but it doesn't actually contain any David Bowie music. You know, there's no tracks, there's no David Bowie songs. You know, he didn't actually have any real input on the soundtrack to this album. So it's a double album with David's face on it, and it's got no music by David, so it's a bit of a shame. I believe he did want to add a few tracks and that sort of thing, and, you know, have more of a hands-on approach to the soundtrack, because obviously it was perfect for him to do that, you know, perfect opportunity, you know, with him being such a, you know, musical genius and everything, you know, why wouldn't he want to work on the soundtrack? But I believe that there was an issue with time, you know, he just didn't have enough time, and I think there was also an issue with the contract he was on. You know, he was on an RCA label at the time, and maybe they weren't too happy with him working, you know, making music for another company and that sort of thing. I think that possibly had something to do with it. I'm not entirely sure, but I think time was the main contributor to why it never happened, unfortunately. But yeah, it's a bit of a shame, but that's the way the cookie crumbles, really. And I'll show the goodies now, which are very nice indeed. You know, this is a very nice release if you like the film, particularly if you like the music, of course. But either way, you're gonna like this. And it comes with this pretty nice big poster. Make that out, and it's the, you know, the movie poster that would have hung up in the cinemas back in the 70s, and it comes with this very, very nice book, hardback book, and it's well worth checking out the film if you've never seen it before. It's, you know, arguably Bowie's best film, really. You know, it's definitely his most memorable film. It's the film that most people talk about and think about when they think of David Bowie in films. And yeah, I think it's pretty good. It starts off really good, and then it kind of loses its way for me a little bit towards the middle section. But I think the end, in particular, is sort of fantastic, really. You know, the ending is really poignant, and it's just really nice end to the film. And at the back page here, you got the 2 CDs, which, you know, as I've maybe mentioned before, it's just the same content on the CD. I've never actually listened to the CD, but it's the same as on the LPs. So there's like a still from the film, the clipperboard, and yeah, just a really nice presentation, really nice release. And here's record 2. It comes in these sleeves, the LPs. And they went above and beyond with this. And there's record 1. Some photos on the back. And the vinyl itself, it comes in these nice plastic sleeves, and it's just black vinyl, standard black vinyl with these labels. So nothing too special, really, both the same. So that's it for The Man Who Fell to Earth. You know, a nice release. Just a shame they couldn't have included a DVD at least of the film, perhaps. And, you know, it's ultimately a shame that, you know, David Bowie wasn't more hands-on with the soundtrack, but that's history for you. So we'll move on now to this. This is Just a Gigolo. It's a Record Store Day exclusive with all the numbering and all that crap that, you know, people get obsessed about with these sorts of things. And it's you know, a couple of tracks from the film. I haven't seen the film, but I'd be intrigued to check her out, and it would be great if there was like a box set of all these David Bowie films in one go. You could just buy it, but I'd imagine because you know, they're all owned by different companies, different distributors and all that sort of things, it's probably never going to happen. But it's a shame, but, you know, I have to check them out some other means. Now the thing is with this, is that I couldn't imagine there's a huge amount of people out there that really were thinking, you know, what I'd really love is Just a Gigolo, you know, a couple of tracks from Just a Gigolo, you know, on blue vinyl. You know, that would be my dream come true. I couldn't imagine as many people, you know, thinking that ever at all, really. But don't worry, if there was, Record Store Day jumped into action and put this out for everyone to enjoy. And there's actually more David Bowie, believe it or not, on this 45 than there is on that entire box set that I just went through before. This has got something on it called Revolutionary Song, which is an instrumental, so no vocal work or anything like that, but it's an instrumental by David Bowie, and it says The Rebels here. So yeah, might want to check the film out one day, eventually. And on the B-side, you've got a track called Just a Gigolo, which is by Marlene Dietrich, and it's what you'd expect, a fairly elderly woman at this point singing a song, and she's definitely a real character. She is. I've been reading about her recently, about what things she got up to, and yeah, that's something that they could definitely make a film out of her life, definitely. So that's Just a Gigolo. We'll move on now from a 7-inch 45 to a 12-inch 45. This is Absolute Beginners, track Bowie released it to coincide with a film of the same title, and it's a 1986 release, and I haven't seen this film either, and I would be intrigued to check this out, because looking at the cast list here, it's got David Bowie in it, Patsy Kensit, and Ray Davies as well of the Kinks. So yeah, right up my street really. I should really check this one out. And it's a film by Julian Temple, who was pretty big back in these days, big filmmaker, in the British scene, back when the UK had a film industry, I suppose, which it kind of does to this day, but maybe not go there. But there's the record, Pink Label. And out of all the stuff that Bowie put out in the 80s in terms of his songs, I think this is one of the best tracks that Bowie recorded. I really do like this track, and this is a full-length version. And I think Bowie liked her as well, because he sang her at Glastonbury. The last time he was at Glastonbury twice, of course. He was at the first one, I believe. But this is the second one, and that's another thing that's well and truly worth checking out if you've never done it. David Bowie in Glastonbury, it's like his swan song in terms of his live material, really, almost. And yeah, that's great. And he must have kind of liked the track to include it in that set list. And yeah, if you're into your audio, one thing about these 12-inch 45s, I don't have many of these are kind of quite rare in my collection, but if you're into your audio, these are well worth checking out, because they're kind of very cheap generally. They're mostly kind of, nobody really, you pick them up in bargain bins for pennies in some cases, but they sound fantastic, because it's one track over 12 inches and it's at 45 RPM. They sound really good. This sounds fantastic. This is like one of the best sounding tracks I've actually got, so that's something that's well worth thinking about if you're into that type of thing. And yeah, it's one of Bowie's best songs. Great production, typical 80s production, I suppose, in a way, but it's from 1986, so what you expect. So anyway, that's David Bowie's Absolute Beginners, and that kind of wraps this video up. That's all I've kind of got in terms of soundtrack material. There's more out there, I suppose, and anybody who can suggest any more there I should maybe check out. I'm open for offers and that sort of thing, so leave a comment in the description or the comment section or whatever it is, and I'll be intrigued. So thanks for watching this video, guys, and I'll try and get something else posted in time for maybe the next video will be that David Bowie release, although that's quite a way away at this point, so hopefully something maybe sooner rather than later, I guess. Maybe I'll get round to making that David Bowie ranking video of the 70s albums. If you want to see that, maybe leave a comment, and if you don't want to see it, maybe comment and tell me not to bother, and maybe give up making videos, which is kind of the way I feel like at this moment in time, despite the fact I've started up a new channel, because I'm having problems with my camera at the moment. I'm filming a video and I'm checking out later on and it hasn't worked out. And I thought, oh great, that's 20 minutes down the toilet, I'll never get back again. And it's kind of bringing back memories of when I was making videos, and I kind of gave up making videos for the channel. And that was one of the reasons why it was like the crap I kind of had to pull up with behind the scenes. And anybody who's ever made films, anyone who's watched deleted footage and things like that, and watched special features, of Hollywood films and all the crap they have to go through to make them, it's not fun. And I'm just sitting here in front of my mobile phone, jabbering away, and it can be a real pain in the neck sometimes, but it can be fun as well. So I'll kind of end it on this, guys. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.